Keegan, with your or the voice you do for American Ranger, are you inspired by any current, maybe political, misogynistic, racist, sexist type people out there in your characterization?
Yes. I'll say no.
You're voting
actually,
for,
yes,
though.
right. I guess the only difference is that American Ranger has an excuse because you have to be in love with your character. All of this stuff was taped before all of the really acute insanity started. Just the regular wholesale insanity that we thought it was before. So actually, it's funny. When we first started exploring the character in season 1. He started from, I wanted him to have this kind of pure Boy Scout-y outlook. And so we started at a kind of a Dudley Do-Right place and pulled him down because, as we said, right, we were discovering that he's a little more, he is a war veteran, so he's gristled, but still has this ideal world. Well, remember, he is the kind of person who would want to make America great again. You know what I mean? So I think in that respect, it's almost... It's almost like we prognosticated it in some way. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. If we could only go back and rewrite
everything so we could shift the future
world.
once again. Yeah.
So, Keith, what would you say would be the biggest difference between working in live action and doing like stop motion comedy?
The biggest difference is that you can always be over the top in stop motion. You can always be over the top in animation because you're trying to fit your energy to what's being seen on the screen, and it's always going to be something beyond. It's always going to be something supra-human or beyond. We don't need nuance in this as much in this medium. So that's the biggest thing, is that you get to kind of ham it up, and you should really come into the situation thinking that way tonally.
And the other thing that he does, I think, which is important, is like for live action, a raise of an eyebrow can make all the difference in the world. You don't get that opportunity, and I think that people don't realize an actor in that booth, they just have their voice that they have to make an impression, and some of the best actors in the world that will come in and do voiceover, they can't quite get that because they're used to those subtle movements, and which works in live action. Animation is a whole different ballgame.
It's all the interp. Yeah, it's packing all the interpretation into a sentence every now and again. That's why we'll do it over and over and over again. Or it's almost sometimes I will say the meaning of the sentence and then say the sentence so that because you guys have got to. You're seeing those characters, the animated characters, but you need to be hearing all of the emotionality in the words. Yeah.
Keith, you recently did the live read.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I did. Yes.
Could you talk about that? I didn't get to go.
It was amazing. It was. We did a live reading of Good Will Hunting the other day, and that was directed by John Krasinski, and Matt and Ben came to play their roles, which was amazing. And it was Matt and Ben, and Emily Blunt played the Minnie Driver role, and I get to play some various roles, and we just and it was interesting because the late great Robin Williams is no longer with us, but Margot Martindale played the psychologist. It was just fantastic. And these are things I encourage people to go to. I've done. This is my fourth one. I did 3 of them in LA. And if you guys can ever see them, it's really great because it's a bit of a reimagining. And they'll do them here in New York. And you're thinking, why do I want to sit for 2.5 hours and watch people sit at music stands and read? Yeah. But it's the best part about it always is that it's the shooting script. And like any film, the finished product of a film is never what the shooting script is. So you always end up reading scenes that didn't make it in the movie, that are chilling or funny or touching, or a direction the movie was going in that you didn't think was going to happen.
Yeah.
That, to me, that's the best part. Yeah.
Yeah, those are great.
They're really a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Yeah.
So Matt, like when you and Zeb were coming up with Supermansion, when you did Crackle come to you first, or are they who you kind of went to with the project?
It kind of has taken a weird path, this one, because it started at Adult Swim. This thing, we shot the pilot, and as we did it, Mike Lazo, actually his biggest comment and problem with it was it's too linear. And, ultimately he was worried that it was going to get too deep into its own lore, and he wanted to be a little bit more non sequitur. And we wanted to do a show that was going to be, we like the saga, we like these characters evolving and wanting to have the long lasting effects. So from it, we ended up having a break there, and Crackle is at Sony, and Bryan Cranston, who's our executive producer as well, has a long-standing relationship with Sony, and Crackle was very, very eager to partner with us to be able to do it. So it just made for a very easy transition with them, and we slid right to them to do the show, and it's been wonderful. And the relationship with Adult Swim, Lazo and I still talk about it, so it's a fun thing to do.
Well, first, I want to say, I know we're a little bit from you, but congrats on your recent Emmy win.
Thank you.
But then, what can you guys tell us about the Christmas special and what fans can expect from season 2?
The Christmas special is great. It's a very simplistic story in the sense that it really is about one character's wish to have Santa become real, and what happens if Santa Claus really had to understand what it's like to really be a Santa Claus, to have to get to 1 billion people's homes all in one night, and what happens to a brain in that capacity, and then realizing what power he may have, and watching the characters have to deal with the beauty and psychotic break of Santa Claus.
And then it's so funny, I didn't think of that way, that if you wished that he would appear fully realized and had no sense of himself. It's just like he has to learn
what's going on.
He's learning it as it goes. Like that would be the most harrowing thing in the world. I gotta do what tonight?
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable. So Gary plays Santa Claus, and he's spectacular, absolutely. And now Jim Parsons, I should shout out. The wish that is being made was to this other character that's kind of like a Mxyzptlk kind of character, and Jim Parsons plays that character and sings throughout this thing, and he's unbelievable. That man is unbelievable.
Oh, he's amazing,
Talented fellow.
Matt, so I wanted to ask you, because Supermansion is all about deconstructing heroes, deconstructing the lore, and that's extremely popular these days, but sometimes creators, Zack Snyder maybe, go a little bit
We're not going to name names.
too far into the cynicism route, and it turns into this joyless kind of misery. And I'm just kind of curious of how you're trying to hit the fine line of, we still love superheroes, but we're still trying to point out what's great, like.
Yeah, I think that goes way back to our Robot Chicken days. We always say we like to make fun with the characters, not of the characters, and it stems back from all of us being comic geeks. Like, it's just finding the twist on it. We like to say we just take the characters and turn them 90 degrees on their side. They're still human. You still can care for these characters. You don't have to hate on them or turn them into these dark heroes and different versions of them. Just find the core of their personality and go on that adventure with take an absurd world and make it mundane. That's kind of the catchphrase that I use when I talk about this stuff. And for that's what we like to do with all these archetypes, the same type of thing. And then we found their personalities, which is different than, American Ranger may have started out as an archetype of Captain America, but he's a very different character than, I don't think the two of them would get along at all. At all. So, it's fun to be able to do that.
You have a relationship with DC Comics based on the specials you've made. Have you spoken to them about Supermansion? Do they have an opinion about it? Or?
The funny thing is, when I broke into this world, Jeff Johns and I wrote our first couple pilots together. He was my writing partner. He was at my wedding party.
So you took all your ideas?
So when I saw him after, he punched me in the face. No, it's like we don't have it. It's all love there. He laughs at it. We have a good time, and that's what's really nice about the whole situation.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice.
Keegan, we talked to Gary and Heidi about ad-libbing and improv. And
Yeah.
You have a big background in that. How much room do they give you in there? Have some of yours gotten in? What are some of your favorites if they did?
They give us all the room. First of all the room. It's a wholly collaborative process. The one of the favorite things is that is these vocal signatures that you develop that appear sometime in the middle of the second or third episode, because it's not a waste of time, in a manner of speaking, to screw around a little bit, and for your sole job in a moment is to try to make people laugh. Like, I'm trying to ruin a take on purpose. But sometimes if that happens, you do get a piece of gold from that. So one thing that's interesting is there's this thing that that American Ranger does, which is it's the manner in which he laughs. So he always goes, ha 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 ha! And I'm just trying to make Zeb have a joyful day. That's all I really want is for Zeb and Matt to have a fun time. But then now that vocal signature has found itself into the kind of the viscera of the character.
We have a whole file of just that laugh that we had to be like, we want that one for this one.
Right. And for Agony, he is now a little more sinister. And even though I mentioned not being nuanced, he's a little more sinister and a little more nuanced than he was in the beginning. In the beginning, it is just we're this trope where we're lampooning Samuel L. Jackson characters. You know what I mean? But remember, he was screaming all the time.
Yep.
And now we've got more of this feeling about him. And that's what's so fun about doing the show and so attractive of doing the show is watching them evolve and having the stories evolve while we're doing them.
The agony stumbling to try to find a word, like where he'll just run, it'll get me in the booth every time. It's just like this little, like I don't even know how you would do it, but it just comes out, and it's every time Zeb and I are like, we're gonna use this, mark that one. Like he doesn't even see it, and we're just like marking little notes to ourselves.
Marking little notes over there.
It's great. And
I just found out today that you were rewriting episodes as I'm improvising in the booth.
Oh yeah. We're
Yeah.
sitting there and we're making little things back and forth and pass little notes.
So I'm the one responsible for making me come back
We should
second
give
or
you-
third and fourth times.
Yeah, exactly. All those pickups. I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah. It's not that it's bad and we need it. It's like, oh, we wrote something. Anyway, next question.
I just had a quick question. I wanted to ask you because Key and Peele recently ended, and you were both in Storks together, and now you're going your separate paths. You're doing Superman. He just came out with that trailer for Get Out. I'm just kind of curious.
And that Peel did. Peel came out.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm just kind of curious if you find that Hollywood is still trying to pressure you back together. If they're still
Well, we're together. We are together, and we'll never not be together. It's just taking little hiatuses to do things that we want to do. We enjoy working together so much, and there's a comfort level there that we want to maintain. Yes, there is a little bit of pressure that it's less now than it certainly was even 6 months ago. Yeah, it's this kind of these two entities existing apart from each other is starting to happen slowly but surely. Like you don't think. I don't always say Bob and Dave. I say Bob Odenkirk and David Cross. But for me, they're my heroes. I mean, Mr. Show is one of the greatest things that's ever happened in my life, being able to watch it. But so it's happening, but not as much as it was before. But there are times where it's like, well, we'd love if Key and Peele would do that. And nowadays, what happens? We go, well, ask them if they just want him to do it, or ask them if they just want him. And I think the answers become it's more frequently yes now.
We're gonna wrap up. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.